You see a stranger's dog on the sidewalk, and before you've said a single word to its owner, your hand is already moving toward its head. You don't decide to do this, you just do it. A friend posts a video of a baby goat hopping across a barn, and you watch it 9 times in a row, fingers twitching like you could reach through the screen and touch the fur yourself. It feels harmless. It feels like a small, sweet quirk of being human. But the real answer for why you do this is far stranger than animals are nice. Your brain is running a survival program that is millions of years old, and it cannot tell the difference between a human infant and a fuzzy stranger's puppy. Here's where it starts. In the 1940s, Austrian biologist Konrad Lorenz noticed something odd while studying animal behavior. Certain features kept triggering an automatic wave of tenderness in adult humans, no matter what creature carried them. A big round head, large, low-set eyes, a small nose, chubby cheeks. He called this set of features schema, in English, baby schema. Why would a serious biologist spend his career studying chubby cheeks? Because Lorenz suspected this wasn't taste, it was wiring. For millions of years, the survival of every human infant depended on a caregiver feeling an overwhelming, involuntary pull toward it. Babies that triggered stronger caregiving responses got fed faster, held longer, protected harder. The ones who didn't trigger that response were less likely to survive long enough to grow up and have children of their own. So evolution did something efficient. It didn't build a brain that specifically recognizes human baby. It built a brain that recognizes a pattern. Round head, big eyes, soft proportions equals protect this. That pattern doesn't check ID. A kitten has it, a puppy has it, a baby panda, a baby seal, even a cartoon mascot on a cereal box. All of it sets off the same ancient alarm built for human infants. Which is why you can walk past a dozen strangers without blinking and then stop dead in your tracks for a puppy in a sweater. But noticing something cute doesn't fully explain the urge to touch it. Why does seeing a soft, round little creature make your hands move on their own? This is where the story gets stranger. In 2012, 2 psychology researchers at Yale, Rebecca Dyer and Oriana Aragon, started asking why people respond to extreme cuteness with phrases like, "I want to squeeze it," or "I can't handle it." They gathered more than 100 participants and showed them photos of animals rated as cute, funny, or neutral. While watching, the participants held sheets of bubble wrap and were told to pop as many or as few bubbles as they wanted. The people who saw the cutest photos popped significantly more bubbles than everyone else. Dyer and Aragon called this cute aggression, and it sounds like a contradiction. You feel overwhelming affection, and your body responds with an urge to grab, squeeze, even bite. Their explanation? When positive emotion gets too intense, your brain needs a release valve. The urge to squeeze isn't really aggression at all, it's a regulator, letting out just enough physical energy that a flood of tenderness doesn't completely overwhelm you and leave you frozen instead of actually caring for the thing in front of you. A follow-up study at the University of California, Riverside recorded brain activity in people viewing cute images and found the same sequence playing out inside their skulls. An emotional spike, followed almost instantly by a need to physically act on it. So you're not being silly when you reach for the dog, you're discharging a hardwired emotional circuit, the same one your ancestors needed to keep a fragile infant alive. And here's the part that should really change how you see your own hand drifting toward a stranger's golden retriever. It's not one-sided. In 2015, Japanese researcher Miho Nagasawa and her team studied what happens chemically when dogs and their owners simply look at each other. They measured oxytocin, the hormone tied to bonding between mothers and infants, in both species before and after a 30-minute interaction. Dogs that held eye contact longer with their owners showed bigger oxytocin spikes. So did the owners. But here's the twist. Wolves raised by humans from puppyhood, hand-fed and bottle-raised from birth, did not produce the same effect. Something about the domestic dog's gaze had, over thousands of years of living alongside humans, learned to trigger the exact same bonding chemistry a parent feels staring into an infant's eyes. So when you pet an animal and it looks back at you, What are you actually doing? You're activating the same biochemical loop that bonds a parent to a child, except the species on the other end has spent 10,000 years getting better and better at switching it on. The dog on the sidewalk isn't just benefiting from your ancient parental wiring. In a very real, measurable way, it's using it. And this is also why the urge doesn't stop at living things. A soft blanket, a plush toy, a pair of fuzzy socks left out on the couch. None of them are alive. None of them need anything from you, and yet your hand still drifts toward them. The texture alone, round, soft, smooth, is close enough to the baby schema pattern that your brain doesn't bother checking whether something is actually a baby before it tells you to touch it gently. Your ancestors needed this wiring to be fast and automatic. A parent who paused to think before responding to a crying infant was a parent whose infant might not survive the night. Evolution built a shortcut, not a precise filter. And tens of thousands of generations later, that same shortcut still fires for a stuffed elephant in a gift shop window. So the next time you catch your hand drifting toward a stranger's dog, or find yourself re-watching a video of a baby otter for the 9th time, ask yourself what's really happening underneath it. You're not being soft. You're not being silly. You're running code that's older than language, older than agriculture, older than fire. A survival circuit built to keep fragile infants alive, now firing for anything that happens to look the part. You reach for the dog before you've said a word to its owner. You don't decide to do this. You never did. Your ancestors decided it for you hundreds of thousands of years ago, and your hand has simply been finishing the thought ever since.